About universities, I wanted just us to also to chime in on the issue of the scholarship scandal that teased out before we took a short break. Just in light of devolution and where there is also the clammy fingers of corruption that is working at the disadvantage of the beneficiaries here. So we have 202 students who are on the threat of being deported by Finland.
I can answer for you.
No, it's okay.
It's okay.
You know, Vashu wants to answer.
You can't answer everything.
You know, it's been for 3 minutes since I've actually made a contribution. You know,
I don't know where it comes from.
Yes.
The camels.
So a lot of topics have gone by. You know, it's because I think after the break we're supposed to go around.
Yeah, I know.
Yes. So,
but you need to butt in. I know this guy is.
This is a hashy session.
I'm aware.
Dr. Khannenje is very diplomatic. Still wait for his time. It's not very indecorous and.
Are you saying I'm not talking?
No.
No, I'm not saying you're indecorous.
We are saying camels move with measured pace. I don't know where he comes from. It's the land of camel.
I'm from Masai.
It's land where people move with, you know, this is a quiet and not in a hurry. But they arrive after all.
All right. We are on Khannenje now.
He's a necessary disruption that makes things interesting. So as you make it interesting. Yes. Yeah, you know, there's a lot has been spoken about, especially in devolution. And first of all, I would like to agree with Senator Gerard Gay that we devolved corruption. I would say instead of devolution, we moved to devolution. Literally, the devils are the ones running, you know, the counties nowadays. And part of the challenge has to do with what Prof is mentioning. You see, when you're a father and children are demanding that you give them inheritance, and you go ahead and you do that without training them how to manage that, it becomes problematic. That's when they become drunkards. That's when they start running wild. And that's exactly what has been happening. A lot of people, especially who took over, and even the subsequent ones, power and the administrative, you know, functions at the county level were never trained in the ways of government. They were never trained in the ways of civic responsibility, name it. They were not trained at all. And so you have some high school dropout, you know, all of a sudden they're becoming an important player within the county. And then you're having a bunch of MCAs who are also not trained in the ways of governance, you know, making rules and making laws. And it's the reason why you're finding very junior officials within counties with hundreds of millions. You know, with property you cannot explain. How did you be able to, you get that? And that is why I do agree, even before we start talking about giving more money to the counties, and I sympathize with suppliers to the counties, and part of it had to do with sometimes delays in government disbursement, you know, of monies. In fact, if you're doing genuine business with counties, you're probably going to end up broke. If you don't do genuine business with counties, you're probably going to end up very rich. Because if you have to follow the right processes, it's going to take longer for you to be paid. Anybody who's ever dealt with counties, you know, one way or another, you probably, you know, they owe you money one way or another. And part of it, it may not be out of the fault of their own, but because of the way the system is inefficient. Now, coming to the question you just raised, I think this girl from Western Gishu, and I have my family both in Western Gishu and in Trans Nzoia, you know, kind of spoke to the national conscience and the desperation. It had to take her for Kenyans to understand the pain that parents and people are suffering. You see, sometimes politicians, we're used to playing with public money, that's taxes, and no one holds us to account. But the moment we start playing with hard-earned monies, when parents, poor parents in Gishu are selling their land to do that, you know, it should confront all our conscience, the nation, you know. And I do agree, in the opening speeches, especially of those who have the ultimate responsibility in this country, I think it's important to try and speak to that, because it's at the back of the minds of a lot of people in the North Rift, where it comes from. And so for us to pretend that it's not happening, I think is going to be doing injustice, and we're not going to respond to the cries and the pain. And Mercy Tarus, as fearful as she was so courageous at the same time that now she has become pretty much a national hero. And we need a lot more young people like her. She's educated, she has the desire, she has the talent, but she had no opportunity, you see. And so this conference, in my assessment, should be different. Should be different in a way that should have an honest reflection, because we've had several devolution conferences. What has been the achievement? Devolution, I do agree, has become religion. We can't go back. Right now, it is entitlement we created for Kenyans, and that's